So two things can be true. This is gross. They padded up the pack, even though they padded it with relative in-game value to reach a point that it's at such a high price point, people are locked out from it. But also, if you can afford it, it is a very good deal. And for that reason, I think this is a disaster of a thing they launched. I don't think they ever should have done it. What is going on with this? The mystery rewards. This mysterious mail, we've received no mysterious mail. I thought this was something that was going to happen throughout the duration of the anniversary. And I thought this would be a way for them to give us a free-to-play Unpolished Soulstone. So sure, they're selling one, but also they're doing this. But here we are on July 26th. No mysterious mail has shown up yet. I'll say if Moonton does use this mysterious mail to give us an Unpolished Soulstone for free on top of what they're selling now, I think it colors the whole experience differently. All right, folks, how the heck are you? I'm Fastidious. Let's try to have a chill, calm chat about this right here. This I can't reach all the way over there. This $100 pack for the Unpolished Soulstone. This has been all the clamor in the community the past 36 hours. Sorry I wasn't able to release a video yesterday. I did a bunch of streaming and I just had to take a nap before I filmed in the evening, but I figured this video is better in the middle of the day on the weekend when people can actually take time and watch it. I'm going to try to do it no cuts, no nothing. Basically, a lot of people are disgusted by this. A lot of people are impressed by it and they think it's a really good deal. And I actually think two things can be true because I think all of those people are right. And that's kind of what I wanted to walk you guys through, talk you through, and then hopefully have a continued conversation with all of you. These rhymes are amazing right now. All of you in the comment section below. Basically, two things can be true at once. This was done really poorly and it feels really predatory and bad. And also, for the people that can afford it and want to spend for it, it's an incredibly good deal. It is much cheaper than it should be for the people looking for something like this. Hopefully someone is like that and can speak up in the comments and share a more specific opinion based on your own experience as a big spender or an endgame player, something like that. For me, it's a little more abstract, but undeniably, if you're happy to spend $100 on something in this game, this is a very good deal, and I do want to take you through that. However, I do think it's very gross and was done really poorly for a couple reasons, namely the fact that even if the whole net thing, if you're willing to spend on this game a lot of money, which is a huge caveat, even if all those things are true, even if the whole thing has a good value, the fact that the whole thing's gated behind a $100 USD price tag, it's just prohibitive to so many players. So even if you're willing to scrounge, even if someone could scrounge together all the money and decide to do it, a lot of people that's just a non-starter when something's priced that insanely high. Even if relative to the other things within the game, and that's what this all comes down to, it's a pretty okay thing. All in all, it's a tight spot they've put us in as players having to deal with something like this because this was not done with any grace. I hope what I'm trying to say makes sense. So basically what it is it's the anniversary. It's a time of giving, blah, 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 blah. They're finally making this unbelievably rare resource available to players that are willing to spend for it. But because they've juiced up the pack with all these other things that, yes, are of value relative to the way they value things in this game, which is a whole other story. Like, if you're not willing to spend, you don't care if this is $100 or $10, it all feels crazy overpriced because you don't want to spend on microtransactions in the game. I get that. We're putting that aside. But even if these things do feel like it adds value, these are here just to inflate the total price. So what exactly do I mean? Let's go onto my website, fastidious.gg, and I've got a great pack calculator that I've done a lot of research to develop and then implement, where we basically have determined what we think are good, reasonable prices relative to the economy within the game. So if you're a spender, what would you view as a good, fair, reasonable price? That is where all these things are drawn from. So let's put in all the non-unpolished Soulstone features from the pack into my calculator now, and let's see. So we'll ignore this because this is completely unique. It's never been made available before. We've got 10 ancients, 10 rares, 800 diamonds, and 5 huge stamina pots. So it's 800 diamonds, 10 rares, 10 ancients, and then it was 5 huge stamina pots, wherever that is. Those are 200 stamina each, so call it 1,000 stamina. It's basically a wash. The total value of everything that isn't the unpolished... Oh, sorry, it's 800 diamonds. The total value of everything that isn't the Unpolished Soulstone comes out to nearly $60 in what we determine as fair, good terms, as defined by actual spenders in the game. Again, if you're not a spender, you scoff at spending any huge sum of money like this. However, it's a freemium game, right? It's a game dictated by microtransactions. So relative to how things are normally made available, we're seeing quite a nice value. We're seeing the base neutral value of everything that is not the Unpolished Soulstone. It is coming out to be about $60, which means they're valuing the Unpolished Soulstone at $60. You can work backwards in whatever direction you want, but without a doubt, people are saying they're selling the Unpolished Soulstone for $100. They're selling the pack that the Unpolished Soulstone is included in for $100. But, for any spender, you can't deny that this is at least $20 worth of value. A lot of people that are aggressive spenders would say they'd be willing to spend $80 for something like this. And a lot of people would probably agree it's somewhere in that 50 to 70 range, probably at the number I calculated with my calculator. We put a lot of work into this, as I said. So 59.80, which means by those numbers, you can get, if you wanted to buy that stuff anyway, and that's, again, a whole separate thing, because a lot of people are like, no, I just want the Unpolished Soulstone, and they've inflated the pack to be this crazy price. But if you take into consideration everything that's in there, and if you would have spent the $60 for the other stuff anyway, because that's the fair value for it, at least from our research, that means you're getting the Unpolished Soulstone for $40.20. So this is the problem, right? I know I've kind of been talking in circles to get there, but this is the problem. A lot of people in my comments were like, they should have sold it for $30. They should have sold it for $50. They should have sold it for $60. And effectively, they kind of are in that price range for the actual Unpolished Soulstone. They're selling it for about $40, $50, $35. It depends how you value the other stuff. But the problem is they put in the other stuff, which thus raises the price of the entire pack and thus puts it at a place where it's at a price mark, it's at a value, it's at a number that is a non-starter for a lot of the player base. So a lot more people feel excluded and left out by this pack than we would have expected, and that those people would have thought they would have been when the original pack was announced, when we thought it would just be this, the Unpolished Soulstone, just this, not all the other stuff. But because they've put all the other things in, they've created a very whaley deal. A lot of people are not willing to spend $100 on a pack, let alone $100 in a month in this game. And it kind of doesn't come down to what's in it. Like, yes, what I'm about to say, some people will scoff at, but other people will know what I'm saying. If this was 3 Unpolished Soulstones being sold for $100, it would be a infinitely better, crazy, broken level deal. But a lot of people still wouldn't buy it because they're like, I'm just not spending $100 on a game this month, and not even on a game, on a purchase within a game I'm already playing. Because then you start doing that calculus, and this is where it's like, are you a gacha gamer? Are you an overall gamer? Are you a non-gacha gamer? It's like, that's a AAA and then over half of another game for $100, right? So at some point, the price gets so high that it doesn't matter how much good other stuff is in it. The number is to a point that some people are like, again, it's a non-starter. I'm not engaging with an offer of that, very, very steep price. But that being said, if you are that player, let's be real. And this is where I want to end the video and really drive it home to you how they ended up at this price. Even if there weren't other goodies, if this was just an Unpolished Soulstone for $100, that is an amazing deal for a certain kind of player. Because at the end of the day, if you're a big spender, you're comfortably spending more than $100 a month, you're spending hundreds, maybe even a lot more than that. And if you're very oriented to being an endgame player or you're aspiring to be an endgame player, $100 just for the Soulstone would be a great deal. If it's within your budget, how often do you see people like me pulling all the summons they've saved, all the diamonds you've earned as a creator, big spenders, how often do you see people pulling hundreds of ancients, chasing one dupe? Think about how much money that costs, where yes, you're picking up other summons along the way, other heroes. You get to a point where it's all trash. You're just hunting for that one dupe, right? And along the way, you're spending hundreds of dollars of resources, whether you save them free to play or whether you bought them right then and there or a mix of the two, just for getting that one dupe, which is this. Let's think about Valara, right? How many people pulled an Ingrid, pulled the Valara, and then kept going because they wanted A1 Valara? You might not think a lot, but it is a ton. Whether it's hundreds or low thousands, it's a lot of people. And that's what Moonton's looking at. They're like, these people, hit Valara and then we're willing to pull another 100, 200, 300, 400 ancients just for the dupe. it is a lot cheaper to get a Soulstone, and there's your dupe. I know what people are saying, this is not the base copy of a hero, but you reach a point in this game, especially if you're a spender, and that's who this pack is for, which is unfortunate. It's not for the larger community, even the low pay-to-win players. It's for the bigger pay-to-win players and the people with a really significant monthly budget. But those players, it's like, you're going to get your base copy. You would have spent for the base copy anyway. Those are the people that would have spent $100, $200, $300 on Ancients to try to get Valara. But then when you try to get that A1 and hunt for that dupe, especially if you didn't get her now and now you want to get the A, I'm just using her as an example, but you want to get that A1 in the future. I mean, if she's not going to be on rate up, it is going to be the crapshoot to end all crapshoots. You could easily pull hundreds of Ancients and not hit. Ancients are consistently valued in this game at a very high price point, between like $3 and $4 on the low end. I'll show you what we value it on the calculator right now. We're valuing them at $4 an Ancient. So let's say Valara comes back on rate up in 3 months, again, just using her as an example, and you want a good shot to get a dupe of her. You've already pulled her. You got to be prepared to pull at least 200 summons, right? And you easily could still miss. And those 200 summons, with a mix of saving and spending, at the cheapest would be $500, right? Unless you've just purely saved until the next banner, then you could save free to play. But if you wanted to buy them right then and there, you're talking $800, maybe more if you're not getting good deals. So to the people that Moonton is clearly pushing this pack towards, you see crazy value. Like, it's cheap. Like, look at another example. You're going in for a dupe of Kagiri or Wukong or Morden or Diao-Chan or Anora, blah, blah, blah. It is so hard to hit a dupe on a limited banner. I pulled over 1,400 summons for Diao-Chan to get her A1. 1,400 summons, even at a good price point, is like $1,000 worth of summons. Again, I always come from a tremendous place of privilege as a creator where I get tons of free-to-play diamonds. But at the end of the day, I am living a very pay-to-win experience. And if you just make that translation, I spent what would have been $1,000 worth of summons to get A1 Diao-Chan. Now, you might be saying, well, you're weird, Fastidious. You're too, obsessed with the game, blah, blah, blah. But there's many people like me. And those people did do that and will do that. Watch my videos, watch Jake's videos, watch Blunt Guts. I mean, we all have videos hunting for these dupes on these limits. Prospector, though, he's always so lucky. But you know what I mean? Like, people that we're not just creators, we're more late endgame players that are hyper-focused on dupes. That is something you're willing to do. I'll show you right now. I've got 98,685 diamonds that I've been able to get through my content creator rewards and savings. And they're all for Kagiri. Kagiri's on limited rate up next week. I have an A0 Kagiri. I have 4 unpolished Soulstones that I've just gotten through the things they've given away, and then 2 drops I had at the start of 2025. I have 4 that I've been sitting on. I could just get my guaranteed copy of Kagiri and put in 4 Soulstones and have A5 Kagiri. But I'm not going to do that because I am an endgame player. I'm going to pull over 1,000 summons to try to get at least 1 additional copy on top of the guarantee, if not more, and use probably all these diamonds going for Kagiri, because every dupe I get to save an unpolished Soulstone. So effectively, that is me spending the diamonds to get Kagiri and reserve an unpolished Soulstone, effectively using my diamonds to save myself or buy myself an unpolished Soulstone. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So 2 things can be true. This is gross. They padded up the pack, even though they padded it with relative in-game value to reach a point that it's at such a high price point, people are locked out from it. But also, if you can afford it, it is a very good deal. And for that reason, I think this is a disaster of a thing they launched. I don't think they ever should have done it. That was my opinion from the beginning. I said if they do it once in a while, that is fine. I hope to heck that they really do this once in a while, because if this happens every 2 months or 3 months, oh my God, this is too high a price point to put something like this there and blah, 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 blah. It just is going to create this fissure in the community. It's really not a good thing. It's such a haves and have-nots situation, and I don't like it. I guess the final thing I want to say, and maybe I'll find a way to clip this a little bit into the intro. What is going on? What is going on with this? The mystery rewards. This mysterious mail, we've received no mysterious mail. I thought this was something that was going to happen throughout the duration of the anniversary for 4 weeks from July 14th to August 10th. And I thought this would be a way for them to give us a free-to-play Unpolished Soulstone. So sure, they're selling one, but also they're doing this. But here we are on July 26th. No mysterious mail has shown up yet. I'll say if Moonton does use this mysterious mail to give us an Unpolished Soulstone for free on top of what they're selling now, I think it colors the whole experience differently. But when we go from the Frostfall Jamboree event, when they give us 2 free Unpolished Soulstones, and now the only way they're making it available to us with the anniversary event is literally selling it in a $100 pack, that is not a good thing. All right, guys, I've been Fastidious. I know I talked in a lot of directions, but I had a lot to say on this topic. Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.